Hi, it's Erica and welcome to another Demo Plus, and today I'm just going to do a quick card because sometimes you don't always have lots of time on your hand to make a birthday card for somebody. Maybe you've forgotten or whatever. So this is the new Die Cutting Essentials magazine, and in it we have the rose die, and they call it Build a Rose. Obviously you've got all your different segments separate, so you can literally you can build long stemmed roses, or you can do a cluster, which is what I'm thinking of doing today. So just quickly want to show you the die itself. Hopefully you can see that. I'll put it against there, that might be helpful. Now you can snip these apart if you so wished. They will break apart eventually, because if you bend them, keep bending them, they normally snap apart. I'm keeping them together simply because you've got little dies there that are going to disappear if you don't. So just quickly, I've already die cut them. I put them through twice, once to cut and then with the rubber mat to emboss. Hopefully you can see that, and when we put the ink on them later you can really see the difference. So you've got, let me get the card so it's much easier to see. You've got the big rose, you've got let me get them all out. You've got a rose bud, you've got a with love, so obviously you've got the inner and the outer. If I can just find the bits. No, got loads of love and no with. It'll turn up. We've got a stem and various leaves. Ah, there it is. Hey. Yeah, so various leaves, some with their what they call it, the veining, and some without, like these ones here. So, and then there's a really tiddly one, which is like that, which makes for a nice greenery piece on. Hopefully you can see that. If you put that there, it joins the bud to the stem, if that makes sense, if that was green. Right, so I've die cut this 3 times. So I've got all of the elements, I've got 3 of them. So I'm going to spread them out and give myself an idea about what I want to do. So I had in, oh, fiddly bits now. I had in mind maybe 2 of them, maybe have one of those there. I think 3 might be too much. I don't want to overcrowd it. And then maybe some of the leaves coming out from it, and makes kind of like a nice sort of corner display. So that looks quite pretty. Find some more leaves. No, that's too heavy, so we'll move it there. And then I think there's one more. There we go, there's one more of those leaves. I quite like the ones with the veins. I'm going to go with the same theme. So kind of something like that. And then I could use that, but I'm thinking I will probably use one of the phrases from some of these Paper Artsy. I mean, I use these so many times because they're always they're ones about flowers, so they work with everything. I think I'll use flowers lift the spirit and refresh the soul, and I think it's just right to go there. So let's just get it out, because that's the easiest thing to do, isn't it? While we're thinking about it, then I don't have to, I can put all of those away and I don't have to think about them. Right. Okay, so we've got our stamp ready. Let's get it on straight. Nothing worse than a wonky phrase. Okay, I had in mind like a vintage look. So I'm going to show you how to achieve that. All my spares can go away for some other project. And sort of keep them sort of roughly where I was thinking of. Really good tip is actually to take a photo of your arrangement and then use that photo for when you're next going back to it, so you've got track of what you had in mind. So what I've done is I folded a craft card in A4 and I've cut off the top part of it. I'm going to keep this bit for a tester just to make sure I'm got my phrase the right way up, I've got my inks the right. So first of all, I'm just going to get a piece of non-stick sheet and I'm going to do the flowers. Let's try and keep them roughly where I had them. Right, so I'm going to go for a very pale pink because I'm going for a vintage look. So I've got Tattered Rose and I'm literally just tinting it. You can see I'm taking some off first. And can you see that now? Got a lovely, soft, almost browny pink. It's really useful for this, what we're doing. So we just really want to tint it all. So that's that rose and then that rose. Right, so that's my roses done. And then oh, let's put the thing back. Oh, that really has got mucky. Distress ink, Mowed Lawn. Just a nice simple green. Might be too green, so I'm not gonna put too much on. So you can see I'm making sure I've not got, yeah, just the faintest slither of colour on there. Chasing these around. But how fiddly it is, I still love cutting in a plain card. This is a cream card, and then tinting them. I think you get much more of a 3D look than if you use plain cardstock. Something really nice about altering the colour that you've got with ink. Right, so done all my pieces. Now I'm going to use the Distress Ink Vintage Photo, and I'm going to just ink around the edge of this because it's a bit too plain. I've already got my dabber on there because this is my most used colour. It's edged quite a few cards. It's just such a lovely warm brown. Some of the other, I know it sounds odd, but some of the other colours are maybe a little bit too cold, you know, like a dark brown, or it's not quite right. This is just perfect. Seems to suit most cardstock colours. It's definitely one of those that is worth having. Okay, so edging the card, and there we are, and you can see you've got a lovely sort of vintage look to it now. Now I haven't lost anything. I'm going to add a slight colour to these, although this Tattered Rose is quite brown anyway, but I'm just on the edges, because what I wanted was like a real sort of vintage look to this whole thing, and to show you it doesn't necessarily have to be always bright cheery colours. I think this warm brown is really lovely. There we go, just a little bit. There we go, and definitely on the leaves because they're a bit too what's the word, green, a bit too fresh. That was the word I was looking for. Now I've moved everything, but I think I can remember. So we're just going to vintage those up as well. I love the look. It's, you know, you've got it's obviously a different colour, but it kind of brings them all together. Like an old photo that's faded. That's what it reminds me of. The colours were there once and they've kind of gone. Oops. Oh, now I've got every kind of something on my ink pad now. Okay, right, happy with that. So now I'm going to get my Hermes sheet for this because it's their fiddly bits. It's a transferable adhesive, but once it's down, if you leave it alone, it stays permanent anyway, so you haven't got to worry of them falling off. But it is perfect for these die cuts. Might as well put them all on there while we're there, if we can fit them in. And last bits. There we go, just give them a rub. Sometimes, because those ones are heavily embossed, it might be worth just rubbing from underneath just to make sure it does adhere. Let's move this now because I'm getting glue everywhere. It must have had glue on it. Never mind. Right, so roughly had in mind, and also, but this is removable, so if I get it wrong I can change it. So we'll start with that one there. Oops. And that one there. And that there. I know I had two up here. See, it's lovely. I can just lift that and just place the elements. Oh, if I can get hold of them. And I've definitely had two on here, like so. And for balance, I think I added. Helps if you've got nails, and I've lost one, so I'm struggling at the minute. So there we go. And then if I'm not happy with it, I can just pull and move them around. I've only just tapped them down, and then when I'm happy I'll stick them properly. Just allows me to, I think something's wrong there. Maybe that one goes there. It looks more real. And I'm happy. You'll know, there's a balance that seems to work, and then when it's done, you just know. And you'll know when it's done, there's a balance and it just works. Right, so all I need to do is stamp my message. So I'm going to keep my spare just to check that I'm doing it up the right way. And if it works on this piece, I can always use it in a piece of work later on. So let's just make sure we've got it right. Fabulous. Make sure we get it straight. A little bit. Let's make sure. And probably about there. And there we go. And there's our card. It hasn't taken long, but you've got a lovely sort of vintage look to it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and see you next time.